Hey, welcome back, subscribers, to my world of stocks, and welcome back to another Ask Ale video where I take a viewer's question and I give you a quick video response to it. And today's question actually comes from our community Discord over in the Ask Ale channel, where Trey Williams asked, Ale, I was watching your personal portfolio video and noticed Nvidia is now your largest holding thanks to the incredible gains performance. Congratulations, by the way. But my question for you is, what other stocks do you think have similar potential to Nvidia, who's now become the world's largest by market cap? No worries if it's a bad video topic, but wanted to throw it out there. Love your channel, but by the way, hashtag Ask Ale. Okay, so thank you, Trey. That is actually a great question. And remember, the more interesting that your question is, that you think people would actually want to watch a video on it here on YouTube, the more likely it is that I'll actually choose it to make a video response for it. But yeah, this one was a great topic here. This one is a little hard to answer, though, I will say, just because for another stock to be able to achieve all the things that Nvidia has done, which, as Trey pointed out, is now by far the largest company in the entire world at over a $4.5 trillion market cap. That's absolutely mind blowing. Well, I'm just not sure that I can find a single stock that can match all of Nvidia's incredible attributes. However, I do think I can find three stocks that can at least match one of Nvidia's three most important attributes each. And that would be number one, a company that can get closer than really anyone else to matching Nvidia's incredible business, specifically doing what Nvidia does themselves. Number two is a company that can match Nvidia's dominance in some of the most attractive tech markets in the world and could therefore reach the same market cap size as Nvidia long term. And then number three is a company that I feel could match Nvidia in terms of growth potential, one that over time could see explosive growth similarly to what Nvidia has been experiencing over the years. So, with that in mind, for stock number one, having as similar of a business as possible, well, that would obviously have to be AMD, right? Who I just feel is by far the closest thing that we have to a so called twin business here, in that they literally design high performance GPUs too that power everything from your gaming rig to the massive data centers running the world's largest AI models. And while Nvidia has always held the premium crown with higher price tags to match, well, I just think AMD has done a great job too, especially in recent years, of building up their reputation as a high value alternative that can still offer strong performance, but at usually much lower cost, which I feel will make them the go-to choice long term for not just consumers, but even corporations too, that want top tier tech for all of their needs without having to pay the so called NVIDIA tax. Now, there's not really a ton of ways that I can prove this to you right now, but a couple examples that I think give at least some of the speculation some credibility would be that, for example, did you know that there is currently a 12-to-1 demand ratio for NVIDIA chips, according to Wedbush analysts, meaning that for every one NVIDIA chip, there are 12 customers lined up that need to buy it. So, how long until those customers simply give AMD a chance, given how badly they need these chips for the exploding and highly competitive AI revolution that they don't want to be left behind on? Keep in mind, too, that at the moment, NVIDIA's latest AI chips are estimated to cost sometimes around 3 to 4 times higher than AMD's. And although NVIDIA's CUDA software platform has created a wide moat for them because of how much AI code is written on it, well, the price difference has been so staggering that even Microsoft, for example, has actually started developing new toolkits that convert NVIDIA's CUDA models into AMD's ROCm code, just so that more companies can utilize their more affordable chips. And yet, did you know that at the moment, NVIDIA actually holds about 90% market share in the AI chips market and a mind blowing 98% of data center GPUs too? Meaning that there's a gigantic market here with virtually like no competition to speak of, that is just ripe for AMD to be able to steal at least some extra market share than what they currently hold, which I'm not arguing that they will to a very large degree. I'm simply making the case that they could take at least some more market share that would actually be very meaningful to AMD's business because of the size difference. And really, there's just giant potential here for them to be able to execute on, which, by the way, doesn't even have to be to the detriment of NVIDIA, because this is such an insanely large market that there really should be plenty of demand to go around and support multiple chip designers. I mean, just data center capex alone is estimated to top a mind blowing $4 trillion by 2030 in company spending. So, considering that AMD currently holds a market cap of still well below half of even just 1 trillion, while Nvidia sits north of 4.5 trillion, which is more than 12 times larger, well, I just think that AMD could see large gains from even just competing a little heavier than where they are now. Again, not to ever dethrone Nvidia. I don't think that's really possible at this point. It's why, again, Nvidia is my largest holding. It's why I've invested so much in Nvidia. But just to be able to compete a little more with them, I think would still be great for AMD's stock long term. Because even a huge double up in price, like 100% gains from here on AMD, would still leave them at around half a trillion in market cap, which I don't think is all that unreasonable for what is, again, the closest company we have to actually replicating NVIDIA's chip design business. All right, now for stock number two, a company that has a similarly dominant business to NVIDIA, who I also think could one day match their gigantic $4.5 trillion market cap. Well, for that one, I'd have to go with the mighty Amazon, ticker symbol AMZN, whose cloud and e-commerce business are so insanely large and dominant that those two alone I actually think could arguably make Amazon the most valuable company in the world. Now, just think about this for a second. Not only is AWS considered the backbone of much of the internet we use today, but even for artificial intelligence, which we all know is going to be integrated into virtually everything we do in the future, well, while AI may get processed on an NVIDIA chip, it ultimately lives on the cloud and gets trained on gigantic servers that are then distributed all over the world through these massive data centers. And it just so happens that in that market, Amazon holds more than any other company in terms of market share in the entire world. And another thing that they absolutely dominate is online shopping, where for decades now, Amazon has been a first mover in building out what is by far the largest e commerce distribution network in the entire world, to the point where you can virtually get anything you need now delivered right to your doorstep at not only usually a much lower price, but sometimes even delivered within the same day. And I'm not saying that I'm a huge fan of that direction that we're heading towards, by the way, like on a more kind of human level, because I actually enjoy leaving the house and going shopping and all that kind of stuff. But just thinking about it from a logical kind of macro perspective, why would the average person ever get up, jump in their car, drive to who knows where, just to buy the same product that they can usually get for an even cheaper price delivered right to their doorstep while they're still in their pajamas, or while they're at work, or while they're cooking or studying or cleaning or being productive with a number of other things? There's great, incredible value to that, in my opinion. And just that level of convenience that Amazon has been able to monetize so effectively is absolutely astounding. And again, that alone, I think, could be argued for being one of the most valuable businesses in the world. Not to mention, by the way, all the other things that Amazon continues to invest in and expand to, like in digital advertising, video streaming, music, electric vehicles, autonomous driving, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, AI in general, even satellite networks now, and just so much more. Yet, this is still the fifth largest company with a market cap of 2.5 trillion, which I know is massive, by the way. I'm not trying to downplay that, but considering that Nvidia is worth around $2 trillion more than Amazon, which I don't really agree with, by the way, myself, well, I just think that long term, that gap will probably get closed. And I think it'll mostly come from Amazon stock going up in price, which I also think that they'll one day be worth more than Nvidia too. But that's just my opinion. Okay, and lastly, for stock number three, a company that I feel could see as similarly explosive business growth as NVIDIA, well, I would have to go with Palantir for this one, ticker symbol PLTR. And here's why. If NVIDIA is known for being a provider of the hardware for AI, well, Palantir could easily be known as the brains behind it, but with a more specialized approach, one that focuses heavily on AI data management, where they take massive, messy piles of data and use them to make real time decisions and solve real world problems for both the government and major corporations. The reason why I see so much growth potential in this is because I feel that we really are in the middle of a new paradigm shift with AI, where data is quickly becoming the new oil, for which we're still in the absolute very earliest of stages. Now, I just think that Palantir could end up being the best company in the world at refining it, at analyzing, managing, and just making all of that data incredibly useful for these other large entities. Last quarter, for example, was another record breaker in performance, with just their US commercial customer count alone growing a whopping 65%, while related sales jumped triple digits too, with over 200 new deals signed worth over $1 million each. All of this despite the economy facing all kinds of headwinds, from tariffs to inflation to high interest rates and more. So the fact that companies were still swarming to Palantir services shows that there is actually tremendous value in what Palantir can offer them. For example, HSS was able to improve 45 minutes of manual work down to just 5 minutes using Palantir's AI solutions, while American Airlines saved tens of millions of dollars in less than a year, and BP is seeing triple digit returns too. So I'm just not sure what the limitations of any of this will ultimately be long term. I'm not sure anyone does really. And yet when we look at their current market cap, this is another stock here that is still worth less than half of just 1 trillion in market cap, which I'm not saying that they should already be in the top of the biggest companies worth, several trillions of dollars. But I do think that they'll at least break the $1 trillion mark fairly easily in the coming years. And beyond that is really anyone's guess, considering their explosive growth potential. Case in point, and by the way, this is very fitting here of a comparison to NVIDIA. And you'll see why in just a second. But when you look at the rule of 40, a key performance metric that views revenue growth within the context of profitability, stating that if your sales growth and profit margin together equal 40% or more, then the company is experiencing phenomenal performance. Well, for Palantir, not only was it already very high, north of 40% back in 2023, but in less than 2 years' time, it more than doubled all the way up to 114%. To give you an idea of how insanely large that is, of all the enterprise software companies generating at least $1 billion in sales, Palantir is the only one to be achieving this high of a number right now, the only one. And even if we look at the top 25 largest market cap companies, it's literally just NVIDIA alone that holds a slightly higher percentage. So again, considering that NVIDIA is actually known too really well for high growth and high profitability, well, I just think that Palantir is a great match here for comparison, and one that is still much smaller in size with huge amounts of upside potential and room to keep growing in the future. So anyway, I hope that answered your question, Trey. It wasn't a very easy one, but I did my best to choose 3 stocks for you guys that I think hold some fairly good comparisons to NVIDIA and to potentially follow in NVIDIA's footsteps one day down the road. But I hope you all enjoyed this video regardless, and let me know too what you think about these stocks down below. Do you agree with my picks? Are there any other stocks that you think fit better instead? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like to ask me any questions in the future that you'd like me to make a video for it, best way is to really sign up for our community Discord. You can support me through Patreon. That gets you access to it. Link is in the description. And by the way, I appreciate everyone that does support the channel this way. It really means a lot to me. Couldn't do it without you. But hey, thanks again for stopping by and for watching the video. I hope you're all doing well, and I will catch you in the next one. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.